Welcome back, everyone. Stephen Morris here with AdviseRE, and in today's special edition, we'll be talking about the impact of the LA wildfires on the LA County residents, as well as the impact on investment opportunities within the city of Los Angeles. Specifically, in this video, we'll be talking about the impact on tax filing deadlines, some tax filing reliefs that are available, the impact of insurance on potentially affected disaster areas, and as well as investment impacts such as the cost of construction, how development works, and overall what the future is going to hold for the city and the entire county of Los Angeles as an impact from these wildfires. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, tax filing deadlines have been extended, and we're talking about every possible tax return here. So partnerships and S-corps, which are normally due on March 17th of 2025, are now being extended to October 15th of 2025, in addition to individual tax returns, nonprofits, and corporations as well. What this means is you don't have to file or even put an extension in by March or April 15th for those respective tax filing deadlines. Most importantly, the deadlines for filing estimated taxes, which are normally January 17th, April 15th, June 15th, and September 15th, have all been pushed back to October 15th. So the January 17th deadline related to Q4 of the 2024 tax year, whereas the April 15th, June 15th, and September 15th quarterly estimates relate to the 2025 tax year. What this means is you should continue to calculate your estimates by talking to us, and on top of that, save that money aside, maybe put it into an interest-bearing savings account to earn a little bit of money, because the IRS is not going to want that money until October 15th when the extended deadline actually takes place. Other areas of tax law which may not be so exciting but are there and available if you need them would relate to the casualty loss deduction as an itemized tax deduction. To the extent that you have incurred a loss as a result of the wildfires and those losses are not covered by insurance, then the loss that you incurred would be deductible as an itemized deduction on your tax return for the year. Unfortunately, if these losses eat up more than your taxable income, in other words, it takes your taxable income down to zero, these losses do not carry forward into future years. So while it's there, it's not that exciting of a tax deduction. It's not something we're really hoping to take advantage of, to be honest with you. We're hoping that insurance would cover the majority of these losses. Most importantly, for you to be able to take these casualty losses, you're going to have substantial documentation. You're going to have to show the amount that insurance is reimbursed and for what, versus what your actual losses were. And you'd have to substantiate these losses through some combination of photographic evidence, receipts, and other sorts of form of documentation that would give the IRS comfort, should you be audited, that this deduction is valid and that the loss is real. Now let's shift gears into the impact of construction and other investment considerations as it relates to LA. As you know, these wildfires have been an absolute disaster for the city of LA, and it's taken around 15,000 units offline. So those are a combination of homes and apartment buildings in the entire county of Los Angeles. I should mention that this entire county of Los Angeles, which includes much more than just the city of Los Angeles, only produces about 15,000 units per year of housing when we're already desperately short of housing here in the city. So what this means is we've basically taken off 1 year of housing inventory completely off the market, which is going to substantially impact the cost of housing as well as the cost of rents throughout the city and the county. To that end, let's talk about what the city has proposed and what's going to eventually end up happening between the areas in the Palisades and Altadena and Pasadena. The city has come out publicly stating that they are going to streamline permits and they're going to provide a very easy path of reconstruction for these areas, which is nice sounding, I believe, in the news. However, the reality of it is that these areas that have been affected will not be able to even start construction for a minimum of 2 years. Why is that? There are two main reasons. Number one, the areas that were affected by the wildfires are considered to be environmental contamination zones. What this means is the EPA and other agencies will have to go into these areas first to clean up any of the environmental contamination that has taken place before even a single piece of dirt can be moved for construction. Number two, a lot of the infrastructure has already been damaged. So that would include the roads, the power cables, any sort of plumbing, and any other sorts of things that kind of go under and above the city that would support the ability to build houses in this area. Again, these things will take time, and typically speaking, we don't tend to see governments, especially city and county officials, move that quickly like they would, private enterprise. So to that end, 2 years is a very, I guess I would say, optimistic assumption that the repairs will, or the reconstruction for that matter, would actually take place. Another consideration is that the cost of construction are going to go up. Why? The codes are going to have to be updated primarily to address the fact that now these areas are in high-risk fire zones, which means that materials are going to have to be used that are either fire-resistant or fireproof, which is going to substantially add to the cost of the reconstruction. Continuing on, as you may have seen in our other videos, the cost of construction has risen dramatically over the past several years, and the new demand for construction is only going to push these costs up further. What does this mean? The vast majority of the people in the affected areas are most likely either not insured or substantially underinsured. In other words, the cost of construction that was covered by the insurance policy might be somewhere around the tune of $150 or $200, whereas today they might be northwards of $350 or $400. And if you're in the Palisades and you're looking for a spec mansion, custom style home, those costs can be upwards of over $1,000 per square foot because the quality of the materials and the quality of the contractors needs to be substantially higher to build a property of that quality as well. So what does this all translate to? The reality is the vast majority of people in these affected areas are most likely going to have to sell their properties, as the cost of construction, not only that, the time and energy it would take for you to get there to build your properties would just be too much for most people to handle, and they're most likely going to sell the lots to developers in the future. In the meantime, if you own property in the city of Los Angeles, now might be the best time to continue to hold and invest in your properties, as most likely we are going to see rents and housing costs move up, and this would substantially improve your yields on your investments. Furthermore, if you're considering investing in the city of Los Angeles, now might be the best time to do so, as well as, again, with a limited supply that's coming online, plus quite a bit of supply that's been taken off the market, we should see rental growth and appreciation throughout the city. So while it's nice that the government has come out and said that we're going to support and help the people in the reconstruction efforts, and by streamlining permitting processes and just making it a lot simpler, we actually believe that they should streamline the permitting processes around existing properties that are unaffected by the wildfires in Los Angeles, because we can deliver that housing within the next 12 to 18 months versus, as I mentioned before, after the cleanup and after reconstruction of the infrastructure, might take between 3 to 4, even 5 years to get done. That timeline is just a bit too long, and if I asked you, hey, are you interested or excited in moving back into your home in the next 5 years? You know, most people are going to move on with their lives, and maybe they're actually going to permanently move out. So to that end, we strongly encourage the city to streamline the efforts within the existing unaffected areas so that we can provide housing to these people a lot quicker. That being said, if you were affected by the wildfires and you have any questions, we're here to support and help. Feel free to reach out to us at this email here, and we'd be happy to talk to you at a future date. Thanks so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you in our next video.